Hi, let's talk about income today. This is a subject that maybe in the UK is, people are not very comfortable talking about money in the UK. So I really hope that through this video, I reach out to some of you to share with you what I have found in these many years of reading and researching and studying. If you have anyone in your family or you know anyone that has graduated finance or is in the industry, they can confirm that this chart that I'm about to show to you, which was created by Robert Kiyosaki, is rather true. If we look at the way people generate income in the economy, we will find that there are four main categories. Now, we're not going to focus on the exceptions to the rules because there is always an exception to the rule. We're talking about what happens to the vast majority, as that's to whom I'm intending to talk through this video. So on the left side of this quadrant created by Robert Kiyosaki, we have activity-based income. What does this mean? It means you always exchange your time for money. If you are in the activity-based income, then you probably have a job. And in exchange of your time and knowledge, you receive a payment called salary or benefits. And that actually means that you are taking on the risk that if the company goes bankrupt or if you can no longer perform your duties, then your income stops. That's pretty normal. That's what happens when you rely on just a job income. Now, in this category, we also included the self-employed. Self-employed, I like to think if you do have a business and a couple of employees, the question you need to ask yourself is, can the company function without your presence every single day or every month or every other month? If the answer to that is no, then you can consider yourself as a self-employed person because you're still exchanging your time for money. There is nothing wrong to be with in any of these categories, but you are taking on a risk of your income being cut as soon as you can no longer perform the activities. And this is where 90% of the people fall under. So this is where most of the people find themselves, and that's why it's one of the most popular categories. So that's what people would define as normal. Now, what's not normal is to have an asset-based income. That means time and money in the same time. I don't know if you've noticed, but most of the people who have money don't have free time. And most of the people who have free time usually don't have money, unless they are in this asset-based income category. Now, what does this mean? Well, it basically means you make the money work for you. So let's take the example that you are an investor and you have a lot of money and you buy a property out and then you rent it out. You get a monthly amount of money from which you obviously have to pay taxes, and there are other responsibilities the landlord pays for, and you are taking on the risk of a good tenant versus not a good tenant. So it's not quite so straightforward as it seems. But let's just focus on the figures, right? So you buy a property. Let's say you buy a house worth £200,000. You rent it out. That normally would produce around £900 for rent per month. So I repeat that. You work to earn £200,000 to buy the property plus expenses plus furniture. And then your asset-based income is £900 a month from which you pay taxes. Now, what I'm trying to say here is you first worked for that amount of money, and then you've invested that and it produces an amount per month for which you don't have to work again. So you don't have to work again for the £900 you take in rent, right? Well, that's what an investor does. So he invests an amount of money and then he gets money working for him or her, and that releases time. You also have the business owner category. Now I'm talking about large businesses, not a very small business. A business that doesn't require you 24/7, but you've got a team of people that you manage. And as a business owner, you have the majority of shares in a business, and that produces you what is called dividends. And you've already put your knowledge, your time, and money originally in the business itself, and then that produces dividends. So you no longer have to work for the dividends amount again. And this is the main difference to having a job, for example, right? When you have a job, you work, you get paid. You work, you get paid. You stop working, you don't get paid. That's the way it works, right? But that also means that your income is capped, and you also assume the responsibility if you are getting laid off for any reasons, you do have a high risk. People who make the money work for them are only about 10% of the population. So that's why it's sometimes very hard to be around them, to be part of that community, because it's 1%, it's 1 to 9. It's only 10% of the population. What are the benefits of an asset-based income realistically for people like me and you? Well, first of all, it releases time. Like I mentioned before, you no longer have to work for that amount of money. You've invested it right, and it produces an income for which you don't work again. Then that means you spend more money on what you really want, or you really want to achieve. Then it gives you security and stability in lifestyle. It also can help you build an inheritance for your children or for your parents, you know, can help you during retirement or sickness. And when I say inheritance for your parents, I mean, you can create an asset based income and have your parents benefiting from it, not quite inheriting. Um, and you also help others, right? So can help you build an inheritance. That is a really good incentive for a lot of people. Can also help you during retirement, or if you get sick, like I've mentioned before. If you're an employee and your income stops, your mortgage won't stop, your other expenses won't stop, your monthly expenses won't stop, so there's a risk involved there. And you can also help others. If you are in a great financial position, what you can do is to help others create an asset-based income because you have the time and the resources to do it. Can anyone have an asset-based income? Well, the answer to that question is a very simple yes. But do remember that the people who make money from assets, they either have a special skills or they have the amount of money to invest, which means they either receive that amount of money coming from a better financially established background, or they worked for that financial investment amount, which is where the vast majority of people fall. The vast majority of people earn the money first through a job or through a saving plan, and then they invest that to produce money and release their time. You also have to remember that in any type of business, you invest time and money first. And you do risk that amount of money. There's a very high percentage of startups that fail in Britain every single year. Actually, running a business is not so easy as it seems. And I think independent people should have a little bit better painted image in the industry, because it is difficult from some points of view to run your own business. But once you get to an asset-based income, you can reap the benefits of that and enjoy your time with the family. You also have to consider that if a business requires less money up front, then it's most likely going to require time. So the balance is a little bit, it's time and money in the same time, or it's more money, less time invested, or is more time, less money invested. So that's pretty much the options you've got. Now, in today's society, is there any affordable and simple way to start earning asset-based income? Yes, it is. And most of the people overlook the opportunity because they just don't understand it. That is the reality of it.